Unison's always been, at the forefront of raising issues like the Holocaust, discrimination, victimisation, fascism, and I got interested because a colleague in the North West region had contacted me about running a Scottish study tour programme to Auschwitz. And following that visit to Auschwitz, the first time we went out in 2016, we were contacted by the BBC, who made us aware of a story about Jane Haining, a woman who was born in Dunsker but had worked here in Paisley for JP Coates for almost 10 years. I think having the story of Jane Haining, we use that in the study tour programme, I think it helps focus people's attentions to how ordinary people just doing ordinary things can be caught up in these atrocities. So I think it's very important, and we embed it in everything that we do in the study tour. We teach about Jane's story before we go. We're delegates, and then when we're there we have a memorial service to Jane Haining, and the guides in Auschwitz-Birkenau camp also will talk about Jane while we're there and what they know about her time in the camp as well. So on the second day of the visit to the camps, at the Birkenau camp, we hold a memorial service every year to Jane Haining. We hold that in the women's camp B at Block 9, where she was held during her time in Birkenau. We have a memorial service that involves all the delegates. We have opening statement about Jane's life and sacrifice. We also have someone reading the psalm, her favourite psalm, and we also read the poem that was written about Jane. And people are invited to come up and speak. We have a wreath laying ceremony, and everybody individually lays a rose to commemorate Jane. And we have a moment's silence. I think that's important because somewhere in Birkenau are Jane's remains, her ashes are scattered there. So I think it's very fitting. It's a very fitting tribute to her, to the story. And I think it also allows our delegates to experience a bit more about and feel more about being there in that place and knowing about an individual who was there. I think that the scale of it is so vast. I don't think any human being could capture that or really envisage what that was like. I think focusing on one person has helped our delegates to experience a bit more. They feel a bit more connected. And Jane coming from Scotland, the only Scotswoman known to have perished at the camp, I think it's important because, Scotland's not a big country, and I think that people feel an association with it, and then they can experience it a bit, in terms of, or they can at least, see it in a greater perspective than otherwise would have. I think Jane's story is important for people to learn about the Holocaust because atrocities are still happening every single day. And I think it takes people back to a time, within a lifetime that this happened. And I think Jane's story is about service and sacrifice. It's an ordinary person who went about her ordinary day work, caring for children. And Jane's selflessness, she was ordered back by the Church of Scotland and she refused to come because the girls that she was in her care, she felt so strongly a connection to them and she stayed with them. Now, I don't think Jane could have ended up in Auschwitz or Birkenau. She probably never even heard of that place. I think it's important that people remember the Holocaust and continue to oppose all forms of discrimination and fascism and, genocide. We must stop these things happening. And war is political, and Jane was an ordinary person caught up in that.